Welcome to the Forest Harvest CBNE Forum 2021. Thank you for joining us this week as we foster information exchange, capacity enhancement, market engagement, and political action in support of the community-based NTFP enterprises. Please welcome our moderator for this session, Mr. Jose Romeo Ebron. He is the Cooperative Development Program Manager of Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, or AFA. He has been engaged in the cooperative movement, including being board and chair of several cooperatives and federations and working on cooperatives legislation in the Philippines. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Ebron.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Nice meeting you all, and welcome to this masterclass, Transforming Farmers and Forest Resource Collectors Associations into Cooperatives Towards Business Continuity, Leveraging Business Plans to Enhance NTFP Enterprises. Once again, good morning, maayong buntag, assalamualaikum. Thank you, and it's a privilege to be the moderator for this session. And without much further ado, I would like to call my colleague, the Secretary General of Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, or AFA, Esther Pinonia, to give the opening statements.
Thank you, Jojo, and good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining this masterclass session today. In this, our community-based non-timber forest product enterprise forum, or CBNE forum, co-organizers conduct masterclass sessions. These are short 2 to 3 hour sessions which are designed to expand the knowledge and enhance the skills of community-based practitioners who are farmers groups, forest user groups, cooperatives, local communities, and indigenous peoples communities through the sharing of experts. These experts come from grassroots communities as well as support institutions who are engaged in non-timber forest product enterprises in Asia. In this masterclass, our organization, Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, or APA, shares our expertise built over years of experience in developing business plans and proposals, as well as consolidating small individual groups into stronger collectives and networks to access credit, funding, and other support needed by community-based enterprises from various stakeholders. AFA is a 19-year-old regional alliance of 22 national family farming organizations and cooperatives in 16 countries in Asia, with around 13 million members who are small-scale women, men, and youth engaged in crops, livestock, fisheries, forestry, herding, and pastoralism. In at least 10 of our member organizations, at least 30% or at most 70% are farmers living inside forests or near forests. AFA is also regional implementing agency of the Asia-Pacific Farmers Program, or APFP, and Farmers Organizations for Asia, funded by IFAD and EU, being implemented in 22 countries with 80 partner national farmers organizations. AFA is also the CSO Asia representative to the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, or GAPSP, which is a multilateral funding facility that provides direct financing to farmers' organizations to enhance their business services to their members. AFA promotes the effective implementation of the UN Decade of Family Farming at national and regional levels to harness the potentials of family farmers to contribute to the work of ending poverty and hunger. We promote a 6-point agenda, which includes strengthening family farmers' cooperatives and their enterprises, along with promoting their rights to land and forest resources, sustainable, integrated, diversified, organic, agroecological systems in farms and forests, empowering of women farmers, attracting the youth to agriculture, and democratic, transparent, accountable farmers' organizations. Our program on cooperative development is a response to the big challenges of weak market power of family farmers and forest user groups. Farmers produce, take their products to the market or to the middlemen, but are unable to get good prices for their products. They are usually mere price takers and not price makers. Then, farmers see that their products are sold in the city, or they see their products come back to them as processed food, and the prices of these are way more expensive, maybe tripled, quadrupled. And when farmers do not earn from farming, the youth become unattracted to agriculture and will not choose to farm. How then will we get our food? So the Cooperative Development Program of AFA was established in 2015 to basically increase the market power of farmers, including those in forested landscapes. To do this, one of AFA's key programmatic interventions is business development servicing, where our business development officers build the technical capacities of our member organizations in the area of business planning and management, cooperative organizing, management and governance, value addition, and linkage to markets. In this masterclass session, AFA would like to share the experience of some of our experts in building and strengthening farmers' cooperatives and in making viable and convincing business plans to better respond to the COVID-19 crisis. In closing, we would like to thank our co-organizer in this session, NTFP-EP, for the preparations and management of this masterclass session. We also would like to thank IFAD and GAFSP for the financial support given to AFA to be able to co-convene the CBNE forum. Hope you enjoy the session and harvest some takeaways upon closing. A good day again to all. Back to you, Jojo.
Thank you very much, Esther, for that wonderful message, as well as providing a very comprehensive context and highlighting the current challenges faced by the farmers and forest collectors, their initial initiatives, that set the tone for the next 1.5 hours of this CBNE forum. Again, thank you so much. And just for the information of everybody, we have around 113 participants here in the session. So thank you. And I would like to proceed with a brief rationale for this session. This masterclass is part of the capacity stream of the whole CBNE forum. In the CBNE value chain support session this morning, there are a number of questions on how CBNE products be able to reach the retail market, whether there are growth potentials as well as the challenges they face in reaching the market. But value-adding products is just one part of the equation. The role of FOs, cooperatives, with their collective groups as well, as key enablers and movers that would bridge the producers, community, enterprises with the market is very crucial and another important aspect of the equation. Two practitioners will share their best practices for today in consolidating small family farmers and forest resource collectors, associations into stronger collectives and network, and use business modeling, their framework, their approaches, their interventions that would connect the dots between producers and markets, and consequently enhance access to more resources, as I've mentioned by Esther, like whether it's access to credit, investments, grants from donors and partners, partnerships, and other kinds of support from other stakeholders. So thank you very much. Without much further ado, I would like to call on our first speaker of our session one, with the topic Transforming Farmers and Forest Resource Collectors Associations into Cooperatives, a winning model for business continuity and sustainability. For this session, It will provide an overview and framework for individual farmers, forest collectors who wanted to harness collective efforts through an agri-enterprise cooperative model. And we will hear a lot from the resource person. He is currently the CEO of Agri-Co-op PH Federation, or Philippine Family Farmers, Agriculture, Fisheries, Forestry Cooperatives Federation. He's a graduate in agriculture with major in engineering and masteral course in strategic business economics. He specialized on trainings on cooperatives development, banking, and finance. He's formerly representative of the part of the Philippine Parliament or Congress and former Assistant Secretary for Support Services with the Department of Agrarian Reform, Philippines. He's formerly the Chief Executive Officer of NATCO, PhilDRA, and other civil society organizations. Without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, colleagues, and participants to this session, I would like to call the speaker, Mr. Crescenti Paez, for his presentation, and he's given 15 minutes or so for this presentation. Take it away, Chris. Thank you. Chris, you are muted.
Is that okay now?
Okay, we can hear you now. Thank you, Chris.
Can you see my slide?
Yes. You can see it now.
Okay, thank you. My name is Crescenti, or just call me Chris Paez. I am the CEO of Agri-Co-op Federation. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, AFA. Thank you, Jojo, for giving us the privilege to share our experience and knowledge about transforming farmers' associations into cooperatives. I would like to introduce Agri-Co-op PH. This is a new federation of 30 agricultural cooperatives engaging in highly diversified commodities, including livestock. And there are around 525,000 farmers as members, and our combined assets is amounting to $200 million US. My topic is in relation to the master class. I would like to introduce the case of Minoyan Murcia Marginal Coffee Growers Association, and that is in the process of transformation from being an association today into a cooperative in the future. The outline of my topic would consist of the context. The context here is we would like to provide you the rationale, the background, certain considerations for purposes of transforming an association into a cooperative. After the context, I would like to present a business case. This means it's a real organization and it is actually in the process of transformation. And also the project support, then our approach, and then from the approach, what are the specific interventions? The last point in the outline is to give you an example of a successful cooperative being transformed from an association. In terms of context, allow me to explain what is farmers' organization. The word organization is generic. It is a group of farmers that are having concern and a common interest As an organization, there is a structure with formal membership, and it has its own status and functions, and it is governed by bylaws and rules. Types of farmers organizations according to orientation. It would depend on the country where you are, but generally speaking, when you talk about farmers organization according to orientation, there are two. One is community-based. The other one is commodity-based. When you talk about community-based, this is an organization that is resource-oriented, being established because there are opportunities provided by NGOs, support organizations, and even government. So the association has been established in order to access resources. Then therefore the organizers, the people behind the organization, are after of the resources that can be accessed by them. The other one is commodity-based, but this is more of a market-driven or market-oriented farmers organizations. There are two forms of farmers organization according to legal personality. And according to legal personality, which means that whether you could be an association and you could be a cooperative. An association, in our case in the Philippines, is registered with Securities and Exchange Commission. And all institutions in the country are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, including the association. The association here, as I said, oriented towards resource accessing, which is normally driven by programs of government and NGOs. And therefore, there is no pressure on investment capital. The other form of an organization is a cooperative. In the case of the Philippines, we are registered with a Cooperative Development Authority. It's a regulatory body that has been established by law that it could take care in providing legal personality for organizations who would like to get themselves involved in cooperative actions. And normally this is driven by capital and market. So the orientation is investment, so that they will be able to perform their business and link the activities of the organization to the market. Now, what's the business case? I would like to present here the M3CGI. This is an association. It's a commodity-based association, and this was established in 2013. So around 8 years old now. And there are 43 members, and they have also their own board members, 5. And the farmers are covering a total area of 62 hectares planted with coffee. And of course, the farmers are now into harvesting of coffee beans. In the registration of the association, the type of ownership is association, and the type of business is registered as consolidation and aggregation of farm products. And the size of firm is a small enterprise, which can be established from 10 to 40 members, so that you will be accorded with privileges from the government. As I said, there is no pressure for capital, no membership fees required, and no annual dues are required. So what we did first, at this point, we were not talking about transitioning them or transforming them. We have to subject them first to an assessment. And these are the results of the organizational assessment of the association. First, we started with the governance. And in this slide, there are 6 items which are being looked into. And the red color of the spider web here is the standard, meaning if you have this, that means you're 100% in terms of the strength in governance of your organization. And the blue spider web here can be seen inside, and this is the actual conditions when this association was subjected to a governance check. And if you look, if you take into the result, it would give you a score of 135. And that score of 135 means it is medium risk, meaning not high risk, at the middle part. But in this governance check, you would notice that the biggest challenge of the organization is it is not forward-looking. They lack the strategic visioning. Okay, in terms of relationship between the organization and the members, but they have also problems in terms of transparency, problems with the roles and responsibilities of their officers. So what does this give you? There is a risk that governance problems will prevent you from doing your work. This is the conclusive statement insofar as this assessment is concerned. Now, this time we take a look at the financial health check, and you would notice that this is worse assessment compared to the governance check, because there is no system, almost zero system of internal controls. There is no auditing. Financial reporting is really bad, and even accounting, it's not in place. And even there's no planning and budgeting. And the score is 200 or below. You don't have serious problems in the financial management, because this is not in a good health, and therefore the managers or the board or the officers should be able to address this condition. Now, the general assessment will give you an idea that there are 8 items here. So you have weak membership support, poor governance, no business skills, weak capital, weak internal control, no skills in marketing, lack of farming techniques, and lack of quality products. Now, here comes our project support. And the title of our project support is Institutional Strengthening of Coffee Producing Cooperatives and Associations. So around 57% of the 10 cooperatives that we are assisting are associations, and the other 43% are cooperatives. And we engage a total of 1,000 coffee growers. This is a field copy project funded from ACDBUCA, which is based in the United States of America. Now, how do we do it in engaging the association or the cooperative? We use the so-called capacity building framework. This is a 6-step critical management process. We start with scanning, and then after the scanning, when we know what are the issues, the constraints of the association, of the cooperative, we will come up with a development plan or a capacity development plan. Then we will execute, monitor, and then we will achieve the results, and then evaluation. And we focus on 3 areas: governance, financial management, and business operations. But the modes or the modality of our delivery mechanism is that we provide a training person or a mentor, and then we engage the association or the cooperative into learning exchange, meaning the association will have the opportunity to visit other cooperatives in order to benchmark their performance with other organizations, and also market intermediation. And in this particular project, we provide a business specialist. A local resource co-op is identified so that practical experience of a very successful organization can be shared to this association. And then we also deploy an advisor. And the key approach is peer-to-peer, farmer-to-farmer, cooperative to cooperative. Now, this is how we build up the capacity if you are a cooperative institution. And the left side, which is colored red, this is intended to set up and strengthen the internal capacity of the organization. And to do that, like for instance, how will you do it for the members, the leaders, the governance, management? That is one part. That is one block. The second block is what would be the capital infusion? How much capital we needed in order to support, you know, whatever business enterprise or business plan that has been drafted. Will there be grant that will be supported? So this is in the area of financing. And then what kind of agri-enterprise? And what would be the value chain in that enterprise? And it is and to find out what is the involvement of the association or the cooperative in the segment of that value chain, and how this is being connected to the market. So this portion of the ecosystem of the strengthening of an agriculture cooperative is what we call essential elements building blocks for scale. So as I said, this is intended and this is focused on the internal capacity of the organization. The other side, which is colored blue, this is the external environment where you have important elements for growth acceleration. So we have to take a look whether the policy is friendly, so that we have to advocate for favorable policies. What's the support of the local government units, if there are programs? What about the climate change? And also, because we would like to be inclusive in our developmental approach, then therefore we have to take look into the gender aspect, and even the indigenous peoples involved in the organization. Now, what is the intervention? In this slide, you will notice I circled, you have the circle here. This is our enterprise management advisor. So she is spending around 5 days a month. And his task is to facilitate the transformation of the association into a cooperative, and see to it that the cooperative will have or will be able to obtain a legal personality with a regulatory body, and engage the members to support the cooperative undertaking, and go into development processes, and see to it that the skills and the competence will be provided, so that there will be intervention in support of skills development of the leaders, financial management, including business operations. I have to underscore the point here that there is nothing wrong with the association. To me, the association is not bad. But if you go into business and you want to increase the income of the farmers, and you want to penetrate the market, and so that you'll be able to provide better benefits to the members, in the Philippine conditions, we found out that the cooperative organization is the best type of organization than an organization. This is our experience in our country. But of course, in other countries, it could be different. Maybe association is better than cooperative. So I am just situating the conditions in the Philippine city. Now, with the intervention of the enterprise management advisor, actions will be taken towards the establishment and registration of the cooperative. You see in the slide, you have...
Chris, I'd like to remind you that you have around 3 minutes more. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. So you have the cornerstones, and the cornerstones, there are 4: vision, talent, capital, and systems. Now, all these 4 cornerstones should be in place. Now, running a cooperative, you need talent. You need a bookkeeper. You need somebody who has background in accounting, or in internal control, or in management. Capital is necessary because cooperative is a business institution. And then you have to put the systems in place. And these are the systems in relation to accounting, internal control, human resource, like human resource manual, and all policies. Now, The market system development approach here is when the moment you have this institution as a cooperative. The cooperative here is an instrument to situate that the value chain is well defined, and which of the activities in the value chain that the cooperative should undertake, whether it is in the side of the inputs, in the side of the marketing, in the sides of storage, or it is in the processing. But that would depend on the actual conditions. And the other segments of the value chain can be relegated or can be done by support institutions. So we need not to be the master of all processes. But if it is possible, it is important that the participation of the farmers of the cooperative in the value chain will be increased. Because as you increase your participation in the value chain, then better returns will and better benefits will go to the farmers. And therefore, you have to do some behavioral transformation of especially the thinking of the farmers, that in fact agriculture is a business and a farmer is a businessman. Meaning agriculture is an enterprise and the farmer should be an entrepreneur. In our experience, if the farmers are not business oriented, they are not transformed into business thinking, you will be encountering a lot of problems. Then here, we need to make the market work for the small scale farmers. This is our market systems approach. This is an example of a successful co-op being transformed from an association to a cooperative. This is Lamak sa Mangnayon, was established in 1973 with 70 farmers, only $70 in 1973. And they were transformed into a cooperative in 1992. And right now, this is already a 40 million assets, US dollars, with 100,000 members. And they have 32 branches. And they have around 14.6 million in equity. This is the contribution of the farmers to the cooperative, and they have 14.9 million deposits from the members, because we would like the farmers to be savings conscious, and they have to practice savings. And then 28 million in terms of loans extended to members. Then you have 740,000 dividends, and even during the pandemic last year, they netted an income of 300,000. And this is this picture is the main building. This is right at the center of the rural area, which is around 10 kilometers away from the population or from the municipality. And you have around you have the housing project here, where the employees of the cooperative are given housing support by the cooperative. This one here is the left side is the dormitory. They set up a dormitory for the students in the city of Cebu, because Lamak is so far, around 2 to 3 hours travel going to the city, and many of their children are studying in the city. So the cooperative set up a dormitory where the children of their members who are farmers are living in this dormitory. Just to give you an example,
you have 1 minute to wrap up. Thank you.
Example of the branch, and then they have their housing, and this cooperative has its own resort, but not only a resort, but it's a farm tourism. Now, the other picture is these are the co-op managed value chain enterprises. So they are into farm tourism. This is the manager as a woman, is one of the best managers in the country. They have the cacao nursery, the cacao demo farm. They go into organic fertilizer production. They are into dairy. They have the multiplier farm. They go into distribution of farm products. That's why they have the co-op mart here. And they have the ornamental plants. They are into coconut hub, and these are the products of their coconut hub. And they are into supporting their members by providing extension service, procurement, credit inputs, logistic processing, marketing, and they also run their own farm school, and where they train, you know, youth, young people to become farmers. Thank you very much, Jojo.
Thank you very much, Chris, for the very extensive presentation. We learned a lot from your presentation. And just to sum up, I noted three highlights on this. Like there can be different levels of enterprises. It can be individuals, enterprises, community-based or community-based organizations or collectives. But transitioning into co-ops, as you have shown in your example, can be very transformative. No, like you mentioned about Lamat, and they've been an association for 19 years. From 70 members, right now in 53 years after, they are now 100,000 members. You mentioned also the importance of institutional support and partnership. Is a crucial step in this transformation from purely farming activity into a more agroecology forestry developments with inputs on governance and finance health checks or organizational development assessments as reference for this transformation. And lastly, I mentioned of transforming individuals and informal collective groups and associations into agri-cooperatives using the agro-co-op growth system. And this transformation can bring a huge value-adding benefit and impact to the farmers and transform them as well, no? Not just the organization, but the farmers themselves, forest collectors themselves, to become agri-entrepreneurs. Thank you very much, Chris, for your wonderful presentation. Okay, so without much further ado, I would like to call Leo, the AFA Business Development Officer for East, Central, and South Asia to facilitate the open forum. Right now it's 11:10, so maybe we can have around 10 minutes instead of 15 minutes for this open forum. Leo, take it away, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Jojo. Thank you and also thank you, Sir Chris, for that very informative presentation. For those who will now, we go into the question and answer portion or segment of our program. For those who have questions, you can use the raise hand feature of Zoom. Or if you have questions, you can type it in the chat box so that we can read it for our speaker. So just to start off, I still see no questions or no raised hands. Or just to start off, Sir Chris, considering that CBNEs in most areas consist of family-based enterprises within indigenous communities, what specific constraints do you think these CBNEs may encounter into their path toward transforming to a cooperative?
Yes, that's a very good question. We have to start with the kind of thinking of our farmers. It is a kind of thinking whether they are just satisfied and happy as they are now and their conditions, or we have to look into something that they should participate in the linkaging of their activities to the market. And that's the time that we need collective action. Now, as I said, the collective action could be in the form of an association or of the cooperative. Now, between the two, the cooperative is more of a business. And the common constraint is that when you transform them into a cooperative and when you ask them to join the cooperative, the first constraint is if they are entrepreneurial, whether they are enterprising, whether they are talking in terms or trying to do farming, that if they have surplus or they have to not only for their own consumption but to have surplus so that they can sell this to the market. That is the entrepreneurial aspect, and this is the biggest challenge because for many years, for many decades, They are just the generation of their old fathers, grandparents that also having the same thinking. But we have to allow them to see that the source of the traders or the market becoming so rich really came from the farmers. So meaning the farmer contributes to the richness, to the traders, the wholesalers, the supermarkets handling farm products. But why is it that they are poor? So to me, it's in the psychological setup and behavioral. So we have to put investment in trying to transform the thinking of our indigenous communities. Now, it is difficult to start with a cooperative where you don't have entrepreneurial members. So you need to have maybe just a few, maybe out of 20, maybe if you have 10 or 15 people who are business-minded, then that cooperative can move on. But if all of them are those with the thinking that they can only survive if there is government, if there is program, and they just wait every time that there is subsidy, and they are program-driven institution, then you cannot expect that you can transform your association into a cooperative.
Okay. Thank you for the reply, Sir Chris. There is a question here in the chat box from Lau. It says, market is the problem in Laos. Do you have any suggestion for Lao farmers? And do you have any sample on how to solve the problem?
Okay, that's a very, very interesting question. That's why it is important to do some value chain mapping. And if your commodity is coffee, you have to draw it out from the farmer and where this coffee is going. Vegetable, where it came from and where it is going. And then you have to do some market mapping. Now, these things cannot be handled by the farmer himself as an individual. It cannot be either handled by an association or cooperative by itself. Then therefore, we need a secondary organization. And that secondary organization is in the form of federation. Because the cooperative, the association, has certain limitation in terms of volume and has certain limitation in terms of what kind of quality. Then therefore, it is not also within the capacity of the association to engage the market immediately. So this is the role of a support institution like a federation. So in our case, AgriCoop is the one handling the market. As long as you do your trading activity, whether you are buying inputs or you are selling market, you just tell us your volume, you just tell us your products, and we will help other markets for you. But the interesting reality is that there is always a market somewhere. And in fact, if the farmers have been doing farming, meaning there is market, but whether that market is favorable to them or not, that is the issue. Now, so the idea is really to try to find out a better market for them. And you have to establish linkage. Now, you have to start not from production. You have to start from the market. So for example, like for instance, you are growing ginger. And then the market, hello?
Yeah, you're still on.
Okay. And then the market, Gourmet Farm said, we need this kind of ginger. And this is the sample of the ginger. This is the variety and this is the quality. And we bring that ginger to the farmer. Can you produce this? They said, yes, we can produce that. And this is the quality. Yes, we can do that. Then that's the time that we say, okay, we do some clustering of your farmers. So you have to start first, really from the market.
Yeah. Yes, Sir Chris, thank you for that. We only have 3 minutes more or less. There are 2 questions here in the chat box, and I would like to read it both of, and then you may maybe so that you may be able to answer it one at a time. The first question is from Indonesia, Anwar. If Coffee Farmers Association was transformed into a cooperative, my question would be, what kind of a business cooperative or a service cooperative would it be? And the next question is, how, this is from Rosalie, I think it's Rosalie Imperial, I think it's from Philippines. How can Upland People's Organization avail of services of agri-co-op? What are the requirements?
Okay, with regards to the first question, it depends on the level of the development of the cooperative. And there are cooperative that that they are starting only with inputs, just inputs, provide the necessary inputs collectively. They are not so ambitious to go into marketing immediately because they do not have capital. And they agree among themselves that it should be provision of inputs first so that they will be able to increase their productivity. And from the inputs, they said, why don't we set up our storage, our warehouse, so that we can store our green beans, our coffee beans. And then as they found out that this is interesting for them, the storage, the warehousing becomes a business because they store the product in the warehouse and wait until the price of coffee beans will increase. So in other words, the storehouse becomes the game changer, becomes the game changing solution, not necessarily looking at the potential of the market. No, it is just on the right timing, whether the price it is the right price for the time. During harvesting season, and the price of coffee is very low. During scarce season, the price of coffee is really high. So here you have to store it. So the idea of marketing is not yet there, but the storage becomes their business. So traders come to their cooperative and they said, okay, we have this available bullion because we have our own storehouse. But there are cooperatives that they combine the storage, the warehouse, together with the marketing themselves. And here, because this is so critical in terms of packaging, because if you don't package your coffee nicely, the market demand is the market price is low, and even it is packaged, but it is not internationally packaged, meaning that the packaging is not better than the rest, then you can get a lower price. So I will just give you an example. A price of 1 kilo of coffee, if it is not packaged, it can be sold only at 300 pesos per kilo. But the moment you package it, you put it on a very nice plastic, and the command price there will be 100%. You can sell it at 600 pesos. You double it. But if you get a very good consultant and do something in the packaging, and something that can attract people, but of course you have to pay that consultant. That 600 pesos a kilo of coffee can be sold as high as 1,000 because you can already export. But the same coffee.
Yeah, that's I think that's the value, the added value. Sir Chris, we have maybe for the second question, you can from
yes,
you can directly because we are lacking time. You can directly Rosalie Imperial. You can directly contact.
Yes. I will answer that. We are open to membership to Upland farmers, to Upland organizations.
Yeah, there are other questions here because of lack of time. We will take note of these questions and then get back to the people that ask these questions later, so that we can put the effort. With that, Thank you, Sir Chris, for your presentation and also for the enlightening answers that you gave for our participants. Thank you. Back to you, Georgia.
Okay, thank you, Leo, for moderating the Q&A. And yeah, there are a number of questions on the chat room. And by the way, on June 5, there's a CBNE Connect, so that can be an opportunity as well to connect with the participants and the participating organizations here, as well as the organizers. No? So we encourage you to join that session on January 5. I will share the details of which later. Thank you, Leo. So for the next session on building FOS cooperative enterprises, leveraging business plan and collective actions to enhance enterprises, therefore enhancing its capacity to respond, particularly on the COVID crisis. Our next speaker is implementing and farming vegetables since 1995. He's focused on ecological farming and the head of Limbagi Masyara Rakat di Sahutan. Right now, he's producing forest coffee, cinnamon, and macadamia, and through a social forest program. He graduated from agriculture of Padjadjaran University, Bandung in 2012, and founder of Indonesian Farmer Integrated Peace Management and General Secretary up to 2017. He's as well the founder of Jamtani, or the Indonesian Farmers Community Organization. Without much further ado, I'd like to call Mr. Kustiwa Adanata for his presentation. Thank you, sir, for joining, and over to you for your presentation in the next 12 minutes or so. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I would like to invite from host to share the screen. Thank you. So, as introduced by host, I am from Jamtani, and I would like to more focus, share the experience in regards the local village, in the village level. As mentioned, I am also the head of forest village community in Bandung. Yeah, next slide, please. So the outline is MPTS. It's mean multi-purpose, 3 species, and ecotourism managed by Forest Village Community Cooperative. So MPTS, it is like so many type of tree, not for cutting, yeah, or NTFP. And the background is of the organization, impact of cooperative formulation, effect of the pandemic to the farmers and to the organization, and strategies that enhance the farmer resilience. Next slide, please. This is the background of Jamtani. Jamtani is a farmer organization in national level that we have spread in 7 provinces, 120 districts. In focus to small scale farmer, less than 2 hectares. In Java, in general, less than half hectare. In this organization established that 2018 in 12/12 in December, but in previous organization also since 1919 we joined with Indonesian Farmer Association, Indonesian IPM, Integrated Pest Management Farmer Association. This activity location in Bandung district, West Java, Indonesia, and the members spreading in Sumatra Island, Java, Sulawesi, Bali, NTB, and other islands as well in Indonesian part, in eastern part of Indonesia. The number of farmer organization 127. For NTFP, in this context, we are focused not only for MPTS, but combined with the ecotourism as well, agroforestry tourism. cinnamon, forest coffee, macadamia, honeybee, and other multi-purpose tree species, more than 73 species. In category herbs, local food, fruits, tree leaf, etc. And the market website, you could be open in www.jamtani.org.id. Next slide, please. Next, please. Okay, this is the impact of the pandemic 2020 to the farmer and to the organization. We have conducted already the survey, collaboration with the Humboldt University and other university. And the result of pandemic impact in the farmer level, for example, are difficulty in marketing because of, the main consumer in the urban areas are closing. The factory closing, the office, government and private office also, the school as well, and the shopping center. And the second point is production costs have become higher. The scarcity of their suggestion due to disrupted transportation and distribution. And the price of agriculture product are getting lower. So it is like opposite. The production house higher, but the product lower. The price of product are lower. Damage occurred because the good could not be stored for longer, especially for vegetable and some product from the forest because of we have no enough tools for maintenance, machine, something like that, cool storage. So a farmer has no having warehouse as well. And other result from the survey is weak banking, the capital support also. So the farmer should be sell directly. They need fresh money. They cannot waiting for 2, 3, or 4 months, and does not have the ability to process for harvest product into industrial good that can be stored longer. Less and weak export access is closed. During 2020, export access closed. I think maybe in other countries as well. Farmer farmers are not involved in the process of forest sustainability, meaning the farmer is like object only, not a subject as well in the process of forest sustainability. Next, please. This is the result of the research and has presented in Tropentah International Conference. It's conducted regularly every year and move from one to other country. And in the left side, this is the Java under large scale social restriction. You could see, imagine, I could be share if you would like to see more detail about this result, the impact of it. And the right side, it is like the vendor, the collaboration with other stakeholders as well, when we presented in the Tropentah through online at the moment. Next slide, please. This is the results. As I mentioned, that MPTS, multi-purpose tree species, it is located in the highland between 1,100 meter level on the sea, and it is 5 to 6 kilometers from resident village. The original, it is the jungle. It is not forest. But because of so many impact, negative impact like landslide and flood as well, because of so many farmers, they cultivate vegetable after reformation. As you know, Indonesia, 1999, after Suharto falling down, so reforestation is everywhere. And in this context, in the village level, our member is 217 households, and they manage in 360 hectares. Luckily, we have also crater inside the forest with hot spring. Yeah, and the source water of Citarum Basin River. So it is very strategic for the 2019. So the president published the special instruction, let's say, to to keep this area, because of this Citarum Basin River is very important river, supply water for drinking, for irrigation, for everything, for Java, Jakarta, Bogor, and other area in the western of Java. And we are lucky also, this area is very suitable for fruits, herbal, and vegetable, and non-timber. The picture in the left side, you see the map. So this is the map that we have make agreement with the farmer to change from the vegetable to MPTS, multi-purpose tree species. And this is the strategic planning that has conducted 2018. And in the middle one, you see the picture is very nice with the crater and hot spring pond as well. And the right one, this is kind of some area, some spot that could be enjoyed by a visitor, hiking, biking, crater as well, pond, and many others. Next slide, please. This is a strategy that enhance farmer resilience. So in this context, first strengthening of Forest Village Community Institute for cultivation and post-harvest. A fly management partnership with other stakeholders like social forests that published by President Indonesia for 25 years, the community certificate. And develop jungle school for all level of students that promote zero waste, keep water resource in forest, arboretum, etc. And planting 73 kind of varieties with 4 blocks, local food, herbs, MPTS, endemic species, and combined with ecotourism. In the right side, you see the head of district, we call Bupati. So they come also and launching the Sekolah Alam. It is like a nature school in the jungle. And in the picture in the below, it says the some student. We invite them to learn about the jungle, as I mentioned above. Next, please. This is continuation the strategies and post-harvest. Post-harvest treatment in the forest, such as coffee green, roasting bean. In previous, they are still sell the press bean, but now even not all. We have sell the green bean and some roasting bean as well. Cinnamon skin, macadamia green bean, eggplant, fruit produce, and other fruits. And sold product to tourists or visitor. So not only direct, we distribute product to the city, to the other area, but we sell the product direct to the visitor. At least per month, more than 2,000 visitors come to the to this tourism area, and hot spring as well for direct selling and linkage with other stakeholders. I think is very important. In the right side, the picture is like our car for direct selling as well. This is like mobile car. And in the below one, we invite all stakeholders to planting. Police, government, CSR from company to planting kind of MPTS, multi-purpose tree species. Next slide, please. This is our product. In the left side is coffee. You seen in the picture, so the tree is still established. The tree, yeah, and the below of the tree, it is the coffee. Yeah, so we are not cutting the tree. This is like combined between tree and non-tree, yeah, for cutting. And in the center, this is the orange. Below is the coffee during drying. And in the center one, this is macadamia nuts. I think you will be found in the chocolate, yeah, normally. It is in Europe, is very popular, the macadamia. And the last one, this is like sample product, yeah, had this package on behalf of our cooperative. Next slide, please. Lesson learned. The first is the occurrence of pandemic that make it difficult to sell product, bring up new ideas to sell directly to consumers. The existing same problem faced by the community increase effort to solve problem together. There is a desire to produce more diverse forest plan and maximize the available resource. So no need to migrate to the city. I think it's very important. Hopes not to sell the harvested raw material, but are able to process them so that they can be stored longer and gain added value. Next, please. Thank you. Yeah. Back to the host. 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Costewa. Thank you for the sharing. I've learned a lot, as well as of course, other participants to this session. Assalamualaikum to you. And just to highlight some of your presentations, you mentioned that there are a number of impacts to the farmers, especially for this crisis, like increased production costs, distributions are disrupted, access to markets became constricted. But the crisis did not dampen the spirit of the farmers and the forest collectors, your members. As you look into the resource potentials of the FOs and the community, like the forest resource and water resources, and harness these resources to strategically counter the impact of the crisis, like developing more diverse and niche forest products. You mentioned about maximizing coffee plantation within in the context of agroecology, and partnership building and stakeholdership to further enhance strategic actions is an important step to strengthen forest village level institutes for cultivation and post-harvest. You mentioned also about jungle schools that also boast agri-ecotourism. So thank you very much for your sharing on this. Without much further ado, I'm sure there are a number of questions. I would like to call my colleague, Johnny, to facilitate the question and answer forum for this topic. Over to you, Johnny.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jojo, and thank you, Mr. Kustiwa Adinata of Chamtani, for enlightening us on the importance of cooperative formulation in enterprises. So now let us open the floor for questions and or additional inputs from the participants. You may raise your hand or at least type your answers or your questions in the chat box. So while waiting for the questions, let me ask the first question. So it might also be one of their questions as well. So the first question is, do you have any activities or interventions in your cooperatives that help to start or succeed your enterprises? So like, do you also have cooperative implemented activities to improve the quality of your NTFP and other interventions? Or do you also have technical assistance to your members, to your cooperatives? And what is the important or what is the impact of this or having a cooperative to these enterprises?
Thank you. Yeah, sure. We have some activity, of course, in regards to increase the quality. For example, we conduct training. We conduct training how, for example, how farmer can harvest faster. As you know, that multi-purpose tree species is very long to harvest, more than 10 to 15 years. It is too long for the farmer to waiting to harvest. So how to our innovation to harvest faster? For example, through grafting. So grafting cuttings, yeah, it is like after 2 or 3 years, plant in the field, and then we grafting. with other species, with the same species, but good quality, good fruits, and many other aspects that we possible to grafting. And the second point is maintenance during cultivation. Frankly, it is still new for us in 2016, and the cooperation just established 2 years ago. So it is very new in our context in this village. So maintenance is very still conventional, like fertilizer as well, fertilizer, hoe cutting, and many activities to get the good quality and good harvest. And other point is harvesting technique. So price are more expensive because of so far they harvest all kind of fruits, but actually the buyer should be any special technique how to harvest. And the second point in regards impact, yeah, for NTFP, of course, it has big impact according us, as I mentioned in the survey above. In the farmer level, they are still getting income from the forest. In this context, so if they changes to NTFP, so they still getting income from the forest without causing the forest to be deforested and causing landslide. And the second point, cooperative should be promote the type of income are more diverse. Mean not only one commodity like coffee. When like last time 2020, the price of coffee is very low, and the buyer also not come from outside. So it is like no use. The farmer has waiting for 1 year, but the price go down. So the cooperative should be promote many types of income. Coffee, cinnamon, macadamia, from tourist, ecotourism, or jungle school, and many others. And the point is harvest faster. It's very important for the farmer. So should be we have weekly harvest, monthly harvest, every 3-month harvest, and yearly harvest. So the farmer will be moved from the vegetable to the MPTS. And other one is very important also, linkage with other stakeholders, such as government, in our area and many companies, so they have like CSR program, corporate social responsibility, 5% from their profit, they should be paid to the local community. I think it's important to linkage with this stakeholder. And also wider buyer, because of so many competitor is so many and competitive higher than before. So wider buyer is important also. Many options, direct selling to the tourism, direct selling to the city, to the household, export, and inter-island, and many technique how to sell the product. And able to create industry entering or inside the forest for post-harvest processing. So far, the farmer, they sell the raw material and the factory in very far, in outside. But in the future, we hope the industry entering and inside the forest. The simple machine, the simple drying, and other maintenance management, how to post-harvest. And the third point, in regards planting MPTS with high value, mean we should be assess. Not all MPTS it is good value, so we choose with high value for export, for in the future is with very prospect. And the second point is fulfill basic need of communities. It's very important. They will be refused if their basic need not answered by this program. And then designing pattern planting, such as we can harvest, as I mentioned before, weekly, monthly, every 3-month, yearly harvesting, etc. And important as well, monitoring, of course, we need management for monitoring and adaptation on good practices from each other. And the last one, in regards how to, the role of and the step to establish the cooperation. The first point, I think, is very important. Awareness of beneficiaries. It is the key point, awareness of beneficiaries. And the second point is helping each other and conducting strategic planning for 5 to 6 years together and discussing objective and milestone and indicator together. So it is like not only my problem, but they also involved in this problem, and they also part of the solution. It is not program from outside, but program from bottom up. So they should be part of solution. And then monitoring collaboration with all stakeholders, cooperation to get more support, such as forestry department, trade and industry department, cooperative department, etc. And adaptation of good practices from each other. I think that all, Juni, my response in regards to your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions, Mr. Costiwa. It is good to know that the cooperative is helping in the quality improvement of the NTFP or non-timber forest products, which may lead also to an increase in income of its members. So another important key message is the cooperative will have or will establish partnerships to other organizations, stakeholders, ministries, and that will also give them more opportunities in terms of market. So of course, the designing or the adaptation of the methodology and technologies that each of the members are using is also adopted by every one of the members, by every member in the cooperative. So now we have some questions here in the chat box. So let me read the first question from Mr. Justin Paulo Interno. So the first question is, who are your current partners and which ways do they help you in your CBNEs?
Yeah, thank you. The current partner, of course, the forest, forest department. In Indonesia context, so from forest and environment department, now forest is like part of the national enterprise, a national company body. So it is like a professional. We are joined. We are collaboration with them. The cooperative also share to the government, not only manage the forest, but we share the profit as well. From tourists, we share 30% from income, and then from the product as well, 15% to the government. So the local government also, they got profit and they got benefit as well. Not only reduce the landslide and flood, but also they got other benefit. As we understand also, I think if the forest changes from vegetable to MPTS, multi-purpose tree species, the source of water also will be increased. And the oxygen, of course, considering the mitigation climate change aspect, also it is with good benefit. So many aspects. In this context, so many other stakeholders, many other partners. Finally, in the beginning, we are fighting by ourselves, but finally now we our partner not only forest department, but trade and industry department. and also cooperative department, and from UMKM, it is like small scale industry department. They support us now, and the local from tourist department as well. And very important is the neighbor us is company. So they provide like CSR, corporate social responsibility, 5% from their profit to support this program as well. So now finally, we have many partners, not only one partner. Yeah, is it clear? I
Okay,
cannot.
thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for that, Costiwa. Sorry, I was muted. So now we also have question here in the chat box from Van. So from Miss Van, how to user Mr. Costiwa, how to preserve honey longer without discoloration?
Thank you. Frankly, it is still new actually for honeybee. Before 2018, so no honey in the forest because of, you could imagine, every area is vegetable with high pesticide, high chemical fertilizer. I still remember when I children 20, 30 years ago, so many honeybee in the forest, but disappeared after 1919 because of changes the jungle, from the jungle to be they cultivate vegetable. So disappear all honeybee. But finally, since 2016, where I changes from vegetable to MPTS, and 2018, we have 12 stoops. It is like, so it is still new. Frankly, we have not many experience in this forest for honeybee, so it's still new for us. But the point is, it's very important when the behavior, when the environment support for the honeybee, they come directly, they come by themselves, and I optimist, considering the graphic in the picture, the number of stoop of honeybee, it will be increase, increase, and increase. Let me sharing, maybe 3 or 5 years later, I optimist, considering the graphic since 2018, the number of honeybee stoop. So it means it is still conventional, let's say. But the end of this year, we have plan to multiply more than 200 stoop of honeybee. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering our question, Mr. Costiwa. So since I think we are running out of time, and there are still questions in the chat box, maybe we'll get back to you, or if possible, our speaker, Mr. Costiwa, may reply to you in the chat box. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Costiwa, for your very informative and
sorry, Juni.
talk. Yes.
May I add the last one?
Sure.
It's about marketing. Yeah, the marketing, we have produced coffee more than 15 ton per year, but they are still sell with the green bean, not green, pressed bean, and 10% is green bean, and 5% export, macadamia as well. So we have still problem actually for post harvest. So in the future, we hope we can sell after post harvest green bean, more than roasting bean in the future. That's the additional information. And also we have sell to the Indonesian embassy, because of Indonesian has a smart embassy program. So this product also has sell to the Indonesian embassy in Holland and German as well. Hoping if the COP, Conference of Parties, this November in Glasgow, England. So we have planned also to follow up this direct selling to the embassy in Europe. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
And please, for other one, I think I have put already the contact. It's possible to communicate further after this. And really sorry for my presentation. And thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kustiwa, for your additional information on the impact of cooperative to our enterprises. So it is good to hear that the cooperative is currently establishing partnerships with other embassy for export purposes. So now, I hope it gives this presentation a motivation to our CBNEs as well. Now, let us proceed to the next part of our program, which is the synthesis or summary of discussion by Mr. Amir of AFA. Take it away, Mr. Amir.
Thank you, Junie. Thank you, everyone. It's a very good morning from AFA. I'm Amir, working with Asian Farmers Association as a operation manager for South and Central Asia. Very good morning to all of you. Particularly this, this session is very short time, no, 1.5 hour, one hour and 1.5 hours. So that the very important discussion already we discussed a lot, particularly the two resourceful person, Crescenti's Pius and the Kustiwa. They are focusing about on the issues of the cooperatives, and also the pandemic things. This is really is not the very much time to summary all of the things, but you already heard all of the things. I'm just sharing whatever I take the note from the discussion. Can you see my screen, Junie? Is it okay? Okay.
Yes, I mean.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, if in a nutshell, the session is, the information. They give the information, many of the information, but there can be the different levels of enterprise or organization, individual, collective. But transitioning into cooperative can be the very transformative. So that this is the one of the important things from what we learned from this discussion. And also the institutional support and partnership building is a crucial steps in this transformation for purely farming activity to the more agroecologic forestry development. And the third point is the transforming from individual and or informal collective groups into agri-cooperatives can bring a huge value-adding benefit and impact in responding to the needs of the farmers. This is the also one of the important things. So the community-based and resource-oriented, the one of the important things is coming in here. The farmer, the two types, the community-based and the resource-oriented, and the community-based, the market-oriented, the farmer organization. So this is the dynamics of the session that we are identified. What kind of farmer organization are benefited, for to increase the income of the farmer, and also the forest dwellers. We already find some of the challenges because of the weak member support, the governance, lack of business skills, the bankability, internal business process, marketing, technical issues, and quality control. So this, if we know that a summary, we can say that if we look the challenges, and if we think about institutional strengthening, the whatever Chris is say that the 6 steps critical management process, then can be the we can develop the more good organization for the farmers. And from the Zamatani, the Kustia, he also focused on the impact of the COVID, the pandemic, what is the situation is right now. So he mentioned that see the forest located in the highland. This is a Karikuram Basin River, suitable for the fruits, herbal vegetables, and other non-timber forest products. It's very important things is that he informed us there's a 3 layers of the cropping design in the jungle, and they have also the jungle schools, no. So, but the problem is the sold of product, no, because of the pandemic time, no tourist, no. And the production cost is higher, the production price is lower, so, no. So the no war has to store this one, and so to valuation, so less capital support, and also the export, all of the export access is closed. So this is the dimension of is right now is, but this constraints turn into the opportunity, no, especially as they look into the resource potential of farmer organization or cooperative and the community, like the forest resources and the water resources. And the planning and partnership building of stakeholders, they help them to strengthen forest village, the level institute for cultivation and post-harvest in jungle schools that boost agritourism also. So this is the so far summary from my side. I think that there's a very important session for all of our participants, and also our farmer who are here, near about 137 numbers of participants here. So I think we have a great chance to see again for more discussion. Thank you for now. Thank you, Juni, back to you.
Thank you, Amir, for the summary. Okay, so it's a little bit late of time, but I think we can still manage. Thank you to all the speakers, Mr. Paes from AgriCo-PH, Mr. Adanata from Jantani for the very informative sharing, your best practices, innovations, and interventions. I know there are still a number of questions out there, and we can continue to connect. But this session actually, help us, how to transform farmers and forest resource collectors associations, collectives into cooperatives, and enhancing the enterprises and sustain the community-based NTFP enterprises. Thank you very much as well to all the 137 participants who attended the session, from the farmers organization, communities, civil society organizations. I think there's also from the academe, donor agencies, and of course to the organizers. So thank you very much. And if you want to connect further and explore ways to network with all the groups here, I would like to remind that on June 5, on Saturday, there will be a CBNE Connect, June 5, that would be 3 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. So I hope you can join with us on that day and time. So thank you. Before we end our session, we will have a group photo. So I'd like to request everybody to turn on your video, show all your big smiles, and thank you very much for this wonderful 1.5-hour session. So we'll have a group photo. So let's give a big applause to all of us.
Okay, everybody, we're going.
Okay, everybody, group photo.
The group photos. So I'm going to start 3 times. So let's move. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then again. 1, 2, 3. And then again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Keep safe always. Bye-bye. Nice meeting you all.
Udah.